Kiki's Delivery Service is my favorite Ghibli film, and recently I listened to the audiobook for the first time, which is actually the first in an entire series of standalone Kiki adventures. These characters were so cozy and part of my childhood that I was just lying around when I started to cook, and I thought, oh, you know what would be a great idea? If I did a YouTube video where I designed the characters based off how they're described in the book, a decision I surely wouldn't come to regret. But more on that later. The first thing that I do is create a rough sketch of how I want the composition to be, and I was referencing a particular painting that I saw in Philadelphia on the one art trip that I'm probably going to take for a while because I never get to go on vacation. But yeah, they're just all standing around in the middle of this city. And I zoom in to do a quick little Kiki. She's actually very similar to how she's portrayed in the movie. The only big description is her dress is much longer and more old-fashioned than the very simple, almost like black t-shirt that she sports in the Ghibli movie. But a big departure is the character of Tombo, who in the movie is very cute. I love how he's obsessed with aviation. His dynamic with Kiki is similar in the book to the movie, but the biggest departure is how they met. So Tombo in this book, there's no other way to say it, is very egg-coated. Like, he's very trans. Let me just tell you what happened. Oh me, oh my. So the way that they meet is that Tombo steals Kiki's dress and, like, wears it, and he also stole her broom and is trying to, like, pretend or figure out how to fly, and he thinks wearing the dress and using the broom will somehow allow him to have witch abilities. He still has this desire to fly, like in the movie. And Tombo, you just wanted to wear that dress, didn't you? It's okay. You don't have to lie and make up an excuse. Like, it's sort of immediately seen as sort of this silly throwaway joke, and Kiki kind of makes fun of him for it. But, like, there's this description of him, like, blushing, and I don't know, the whole transaction is just giving very, like, at the very least genderqueer, if not Tombo transitioning male to female pipeline. I don't know. It's Tombo's journey, whatever he decides he needs, all in time, all in good faith. But yeah, so I wanted to pay homage to that by drawing him in the dress that he stole from Kiki, and now I'm just going through and coloring them. And you might be noticing, hey Nathan, isn't the point of this video to draw the characters as they're described in the books? How come their facial features look very similar to the Ghibli movie? Well, that's a wonderful question that I will now take some time to answer after, doing a little bit of shading and color picking here. You see, besides Kiki and Tombo, I hadn't gotten very far in the book, so I made a little bit of an oopsie and an error, and I don't know if the fault lies on the author, and this is a children's book, or the translator. So the translator's real name is Tristan. They're non-binary, and they use a pseudonym for translating. I don't know, I've been reading a lot of Babel, if you can't tell. But needless to say, this book was written in Japanese, and it was translated into English. So, yeah, it is very, very, very light on physical descriptions. I don't know what to say. I should have read the whole book before starting to do these designs. But yeah, really nobody gets described, not anything about skin tone or hair color or length. We just are described how old the characters are and what they're doing, and let the imagination run wild based off of that. So yeah, my bad. It would have been better if I had done a different book, like, I don't know, Howl's Moving Castle or something. But yeah, something with rich descriptions and very distinct differences between the movie and the book. However, I didn't do that, and we're already here, and I already made it so far, so I'm not turning back now. Needless to say, these characters are based off of the descriptions in the book, but it's less about physical descriptions and more about the personalities and actions that the characters take in the book, and how I interpret their design differently based on what they do in the book versus what they do in the movie. Okay, great. Now, forget all of those designs because I hated all of them. I thought that they were too real looking. I was going for too much naturalism, and I wanted them to be much more shapy and exaggerated. Particularly, I'm very proud with how the old women turned out. Yeah, I just wanted to really push my shapes and let the short woman be very short and the tall woman be very tall. And yeah, I needed that man to be more square, just more exaggerated 80s fashion as well. I actually went to Pinterest and got some nice references because I was not alive in the 80s. So, I've seen Stranger Things, but besides that, I'm not an expert. And speaking of old women, they're going to be our first redesign. So in the movie, I love how sweet they are. Kiki really helps these women with chores, and they play a very important role in her growing up journey. However, in the book, these women are not useful in her journey at all. They were actually very annoying, but I'm sure I'm either missing some sort of cultural touch point in Japan, or maybe it was just the translation, but all these women do is laundry, and they sing while they do laundry. They're very flat, one-dimensional characters. I don't know, maybe the kind of rub-a-dub song that they sing is very popular amongst children in Japan, and so therefore, for the children, there's a nostalgia element to it. However, I do not have that point of reference. I'm sure that maybe if it was a song like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something that, I don't know, I could connect to more, it would have been different. But it was just overall very, very repetitive. And yeah, I don't know. It didn't speak to me. The women have a wash tub and a washboard because that's all they do. The next character that I tackle is Ursula, who is the artist living in the woods in the movie. She is so cool. She's like this big sister character to Kiki, who's just giving her all these tips on being an artist and how that parallels to being a witch. However, in the book, she's this middle-aged woman, and she only appears in one little section because the book is much more episodic. It's just sort of Kiki doing her deliveries. So the woman gave business vibes, so I give her big shoulder pads and a mullet because she's no nonsense, and she just needs her painting delivered to the art gallery on time. The next character actually was a great surprise. So breaking our trend, the very bully mean girl in the movie actually was very nice to Kiki in the book. She has a crush on a boy and has Kiki deliver a love letter to him, but Kiki loses it and has to try to write it from memory, and it's just very sweet. There's a lot of hijinks, and the girl is just much more shy, so I have her hair blocking her face and a much more innocent demeanor. Osono is the same, and in the movie, Fukuo, which I think is how you pronounce his name, he's just the baker's husband. He's like every gay boy's himbo awakening. He's just very quiet. He only has one line, but he just is so endearing. Look at him go. I am so sad to report to all of you that in the book, Fukuo, who is Osono's husband, is a misogynist. Yes, I know, it is terrible. This was the biggest disappointment, and I was just filled with sheer horror when I learned this. So when you first meet Osono, it's a very similar situation. She's with Kiki. Kiki helps her out. And then immediately you meet this man who we don't know it's her husband yet. He's just a man with a pipe. Yep, a man with a pipe. And he's like, wow, my wife, you're lazy and you don't do anything because you're pregnant and I hate women. I'm slightly paraphrasing, but I kid you not, it was just him berating his wife and mansplaining, and it was just so gross. So I drew him in this weird 80s suit, like he's going to work. I include the pipe because it was a type of iconography and physical description that the book always, is very stingy with. So I included it, and I made his wife look less like Osono from the movie and more like Princess Diana because, how her husband treated her. Do with what you will with that. It's the 80s. Anyway, I'm doing all this great. Speaking of it's the 80s coloring. The time of color blocking and teals with magentas. What a fun time. If you speak Japanese, please tell me what you think of these books if you've read both the English and Japanese language. I want to know, what are the differences? Is it a good translation? What are some nuances that an American reader may not pick up on? Or is it just literally a kid's book? Stop reading too much into it. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so there is a little bit of a jump in audio quality you may or may not be able to hear because for some reason the ending of this video's audio file is just gonzo. I don't know where it went. I recorded this video like a month ago. And so I have a new microphone that I got for Christmas because my brother loves me, and my sister-in-law. Thank you, Josh and Lauren. I don't know if you watch these videos, but if you do, your new microphone is really nice. But the audio quality is noticeably probably very different, and I apologize for that. I just don't want to take out the old microphone or find out where it is. So yes, I am re-recording the ending of this video. We've done all of the designs, and now we're pretty much just left with the background, which, the thing about the book, which was similar to the ending of the movie, is that there's this really beautiful cinematic climax where Kiki saves Tombo. That doesn't happen in the book. Instead, they just fix the clock tower, which is broken, so they can do a celebration. And I found that very interesting because apparently in the second book, the author, due to the popularity of the movie, incorporated the saving of the Tombo and the losing of the powers back into the book. So it's a little bit like the pizza effect going on. Anyway, I, needless to say, have finished the video. Wow, look at the colors. They're so purple and dark and moody. Just like my experience of reading this very obviously not age-appropriate book. It is for 3-year-olds. Yeah, let me know if you want me to do this again. Like, maybe with Howl's Moving Castle, because I know in that book, I've read it so many times and I love that book. I probably should have done it first because there are very exact descriptions of the characters. So I would actually be able to do the challenge or the premise of the video. If you liked me and you feel like sticking around, please feel free to like and subscribe. Check me out on Patreon, where for just $4 a month, you can have your name in the end credits. And speaking of end credits, here they are now. Special thanks to Anna Sophia Boyd, Axelius the Great, Bodhi, Blue Uwu, Bobby, Beck, Cake Daniel, Kay Clark, Christopher, Dabdudu, Aaron Martin, Dax Quinn, Emma Wee, Gay Jarris, J. Johar, JD Boy 2000, Johan, Kitsune Chibiko, Lucky Paradox, Melon, Mild Mothman, Mistake, Native Runner, Orion Amastasia, Pinecone, Potion, Cellar Door, Rin, Scorching Ray, Sir Camelot, Small Sax Jammer, Shenanigans, Tad the Turtle, Tarthliner, The Real Michael, Thumper Daytime, Tony, Tortilla Chips Tuesdays Anyways, Tuncher Katie Bean, and Tuppence Pies. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nathan, and I'll upload a new video real soon. Bye!